How's it going? I am on my way to the land between the lakes for a short 3-day, 2-night spring break hike. And right now enjoying some carpool karaoke. See you there. Looking a little sunburned. This is my first hike since the Eagle Rock Loop over fall break. This is my spring break. Yesterday was quite a day. Woke up at 4 a.m., graded test, entered student scores, walked my 10 miles, and bought the stuff for this trip, did the layout, packed up, and ended up working until 2 o'clock in the morning to wake up to 7 to make it out here. The north end of the land between the lakes, and walking closer to the Kentucky Lake side. This particular trail runs in that direction. This is me talking about the post AT and this particular experience, what has changed and what is coming up for me in the near future. Broken bridge should have been an indicator that I took a wrong turn. Lots of detours and lots of down trees from that tornado here on the north end of the LBL. So post Appalachian Trail, I gained 30 pounds. Yeah, well, I guess I should have slowed my metabolism, but that's not the most interesting. So let's get that out of the way. But I gave a lecture at my school. I hate the word lecture. I don't know what you call it, a talk, a one-man show. There was definitely things that made it more interesting than a lecture. Put together like a 20-minute montage of some photos and some video clips just for like pre-show entertainment, even though because it was offered as extra credit, most people rolled in a minute before it was supposed to start. The one thing that is significant though is that the AT has really stuck with me. It is my happy place. I've spent a lot of time in my head on the AT. I hope someday it can just feel like a chapter. But right now, it feels like everything. And I pretty much made the decision at the end of last summer in 22, after finishing the AT, that I was going to go back. And as long as I lived on the East Coast, I was going to hike in sections. I thought it'd be really cool to start at certain spots and feel super fresh. So that is my summer plan for somewhere between 16 to 18 days. Let's go out on the AT, start at Springer Mountain, and see how far I can go within that time frame. Because then the rest of the time, we'll be driving out west. Got some more hikes planned this summer, but we'll be closer to the Utah area, maybe up into Washington and stuff as we visit friends and family this summer. So thank you so much for watching this stuff. And I guess we're at that place where I should say, and I've never said before, like, subscribe, share, please comment. I mean, I'm going back to the AT. Tell me some stuff that you'd be interested in seeing. I'm planning on making some changes to my videos, and hopefully I can get them up so they're not so fuzzy looking, but I don't know. What would be something that you're interested in seeing? I am planning on putting myself in a position where I could do more sunrise, sunsets, trying to be at specific places at specific times. Knowing what I know now, I feel like maybe I can give myself an opportunity for some better shots. Of course, weather permitting. I'm also trying to fire at a very, high mileage. I mean, I have a couple of goals set. I'll wait until I start the trail to see what I really feel like that I can accomplish. But I have started walking. The goal is about 10 miles a day on the weekdays, and we'll see what I can do on the weekends. But anyway, tell me some stuff that you're interested in seeing. Share this stuff. We live in this world where people invest so much self-esteem on Facebook likes, and I like to believe that I'm above that. But, I've always been that one that's been a little, ostracized or bullied when I was in middle school. I did keep to myself, and I changed my ways, and here I am sharing my art with the world, sharing my story, and I would hope for more, but maybe I'm just not very good at advertising myself, or I don't want to be rejected on the Appalachian Trail, whatever, the pages where they're like, don't promote yourself, and then I watch everybody else promote themselves. But again, I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel like that. I went through that when I was doing stand-up, where it just felt so shameless, and hey, buy my t-shirt after the show. Anyway, I'm going to keep hiking. The goal is 60 miles over the course of 3 days, 2 nights. I'm started at the North End Welcome Station, going to try to go to the planetarium, and then basically reverse back up to the North Station, and hopefully staying the 2 nights at Sugar Bay in the middle. We'll see what happens. I feel like I'm going to have some night hiking to do today. Cheers. Here's a view of Kentucky Lake. This is a beautiful new bridge they just put in. When I was hiking this trail in 2019, this whole section was detoured. The last time I came through, the spring of 2022, last year, I had to cross the water crossing over there. You kind of see where they created a route. And now, this sweet bridge. Last night was eventful. Good morning, I hope. Oh, Ken, I was dialed into a hard sleep at about 8 o'clock. Had that Ambien working well. And I wake up to bright lights shining on my tent and a cop asking me to wake up and get out of my tent. So what do? I did that. And then he proceeded to tell me that this was a paid campground. Although I've camped here 7 or 8 other times and I've never paid. And not that I wouldn't pay, but there's like a pay box, but there's no envelopes, and there's never been any prior regulation or anybody even coming by to make sure that people are paying or collecting fees or whatever. And so would gladly have done that if I felt like that was the norm. The funny thing is that even last night, I had a conversation, I say last night, like 6 o'clock, the guy asked me, he's like, do you know where the envelopes are? And I basically said the same thing that I just said here. And I've been here several times. I've never camped in this specific spot a few times and never had any, there are no envelopes, at least easily found. Anyway, he proceeds to ask me all sorts of questions which are unfair, but cops have that power and that fear. It's like, where are you from? What do you do? I don't have to tell you my profession, but I did because I'm such a pussy in the moments. And no offense, I know. I use that word this slang, but anyway, I got one of these. $55 ticket, and I was reading over it. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to pay the ticket and I'm just going to suck it up and no problem. And then I read something about having some conviction on your record. I'm a fucking educator. I can't have a conviction on my record. So now it looks like I need to find out what they're talking about as far as that goes, because I might be going to court. This is the drop box. I mentioned to the officer that I was having a hard time figuring out where the envelopes were. I thought maybe they were in this. There's a Something down there. That's obviously not the drop box. This is obviously locked. At approximately 8:15, the officer and I had a conversation, which he notified me that this was a pay site. I told him that I could not find where the envelopes were. He then told me where I could find the envelopes. I still find it difficult this morning. It does say that you must deposit your fee within 30 minutes, but the officer did not ask me how long I'd been there. And upon telling me where the envelopes were, I did tell him that I would be happy to pay. Hello. I'm going to try not to let my experience with the officer detour my fun or my exercise, my time outdoors. I will say, upon further reflection, that I think it's incredibly rude to ask someone where they work. I think that's unprofessional. I can, on some level, understand why you might ask me where I'm from. But then when I tell you that I work at a school, there's no reason for you to ask a follow-up question like, what do you teach? And frankly, you're getting too personal. It's none of your business. I don't like you, and clearly you're there to cite me. So just get about the business. And when he took my ID, he didn't tell me he was taking my ID to give me a ticket. He told me he was just going to make sure that I didn't have any warrants out for me or whatever, and then he'd be quickly back. I've watched enough police videos where people rebel against the police in a traffic stop and record them and everything else. I did not have to volunteer my ID. Anyway, enough time spent ranting about that. Now let's get about the business of this hike. Today is day 3 on this hike in the LBL north side. So many times that I want to turn around yesterday. After that incident with the cop, I was just like, man, it's not worth it, you know? It's all emotionally, spiritually defeated. But I did move on. I ended up getting lost. I lost the trail, which is actually awesome, because I ended up on some dirt roads. So it kind of gave me an opportunity to do like a walkabout. And I pushed far enough. You know, I still knew where I lost the trail. Pushed far enough down those dirt roads, turned around, got back on the trail, camped at the cove, got the fire, the sunset. This is pretty awesome. That was the refresher. Yeah, had a above average hiking meal. Generally I don't bring out the stove, but I did use it the last couple of nights. Anyway, today is my third day. Got about 19 miles, 20 miles back to the car, and this will be the big hurrah for my spring break. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully something interesting will happen, but not dramatic. So this was not nearly as bad as some of the others, but I have been encountering downed trees all across this trail. This one doesn't require nearly the maneuvering, but now I'm going to start marking them because I'm glad I made the decision to go south and then return. This gives me an opportunity to record this. I didn't record it the first time. Look at this downed tree in the middle of the trail. I've made smaller half circles around bison, and at least they were wildlife and exciting. And again, trail closed much?
Second day post the north end of the LBL hike, and I can definitely say I'm left with some disappointment in that the trail is definitely in need of some maintenance. Getting a ticket the first night, obviously a major downer. I mean, I thought of even just turning around and going back to the car, but some kind words from my wife told me go on, and that second night was pretty cool. I don't normally do fires, and I was able to get the sunset video, which was nice. I mean, definitely got some, what do you want to say, some spirit, food for the soul, or whatever the magical phrase is there. And any experience, I suppose, is better than no experience at all. I am returning to the Appalachian Trail in approximately 9 weeks. So the attempt is to do somewhere between 300 and 450 miles. We'll just see how far and fast my little legs can carry me in 15 to 17 days. And with that being said, I really appreciate you watching, and stay tuned. Hopefully I've got some good stuff to come. And let me know too if there's anything that you want to see, and by all means, if you can explain to me why I'm getting this occasional, I don't know if you want to call it a blur or like a pixelation in some of my moving videos or whatever where I'm walking. Please let me know so I can fix that. I'm thinking about buying another camera, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon. Am I talking to you with the phone? Peace.